Okay, continuing with our calculus summer review. On page 9, we're going to review piecewise functions. And I've created a problem here. Let's say that you have a function f of x and it has three distinct assignments, if you would. If x is less than or equal to 0, we have a cubic function, x cubed minus 4. If x is between 0 and 2, it's going to be assigned the linear function, opposite of x plus 1. And if x is greater than 2, then of course we will also have a linear function, 2x plus 4. Sometimes you won't be asked to graph, you might just be asked to evaluate the functions. And just starting off here, we've got three different values we need to find. F of negative 3. Well, if we're going to be working with f of negative 3, of course, this is saying that x would equal negative 3. And this would then be looking at the top assignment, that when x is equal to negative 3, it's smaller than 0. And that would mean use this top assignment. We're going to substitute negative 3 in for x here. And negative 3 cubed, of course, is going to be negative 27. Negative 27 minus 4, we will get a final answer of negative 31. When we look at f of, actually I think I wanted to change this second one to positive 2. If it would have been f of negative 2, we'd have to use the exact same assignment that we just had. But if x is equal to 2, maybe this is worth talking about a little bit more, because sometimes students will say, well, I know it's not the first assignment, but there are two other functions that we could have. And in fact, what might confuse kids a little bit is seeing that there is a 2 here and a 2 right here as well. But the middle assignment will allow us to equal 2. And because of that, we're going to have to use that middle assignment, the middle classification. When x is equal to 2, we're actually going to be using f of x is opposite x plus 1. So what we're going to see very quickly is this. F of 2 would become the opposite of 2 plus 1. And opposite of 2 plus 1 is, in fact, negative 1. So that would be that assignment. At 3, I hope it's pretty evident, if x was equal to 3, we'd use the last assignment, the last classification, that f of x would be assigned 2x plus 4. To find y values, we'll plug our x values here. So f of 3 would be 2 times 3 plus 4. And 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 4, plain and simply, would be a 10. So some of the problems you're going to be asked to do will be nothing more than just evaluating functions. But of course, you very well might be asked to graph. And I'd like to finish off this video with graphing a piecewise function, where in this regard we only have two assignments. But looking at the negative infinity to 0, notice that 0 is not included in a bracket. It's opened up by a parenthesis. This would be saying x is less than 0. Of course, it would be greater than negative infinity. Having a bracket around 0 going up to positive infinity, writing that out with an inequality, we'd say x is greater than or equal to 0 itself. But let's just graph this. Y is equal to 3. If we were to graph y is equal to 3, well, I hope you know that y equals a number is a horizontal line. In fact, we had two little mnemonics, Vux and Hoy. H stands for a horizontal line. You can have a horizontal line with a slope of 0. And you'll always have y equals a number. And that's what we're seeing right here. Y is equal to 3. So we have a horizontal line. Horizontal lines, just like the horizon where you see the sun, it's a line that goes left to right. So we'll have y equals 3. So 1, 2, 3. But here's the thing. At x equals 0, we're not going to have our y value to equal 3. We're going to have a hole there. And sometimes we'll even find out later on that a point might, from a second assignment, land right on top of that. And that open circle, that hole, could even get filled in by a second assignment. But at this moment, it would just be a hole. By the way, just finishing talking about our mnemonics with Vux, you could have a vertical line. It has undefined slope, and we'd always have x equals a number. So very nice help there. But the one you use quite often in terms of functions, obviously vertical lines wouldn't be a function. Horizontal lines show up quite frequently. Well, what about y equals x squared? Well, normally you think of a full parabola, and without any restrictions, we would get that, of course. But this is saying, look, you don't get the full parabola. You only can start using this when x is equal to 0. Notice the bar there. 0 squared is 0. We can say plug in a 1 and we'd get 1 squared is 1. Plug in a 2, we'd get 2 squared, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do get half of this parabola, but notice it is a closed circle over here. That's what this piecewise graph would look like. So we're going to stop off with that. Hopefully that's enough to help you in regards to the piecewise functions.